I didn't want it to fly up and hit my car. Anyway, one of my friends, Kathy from Montezuma, went and got peaches for a couple of friends. I just happened to be one of them. Yay, I'm so excited. Anyway, I'm trying a new peach today. It's called July Prince. I'm so excited. I've heard they're really good. So we'll see. So just come along and join us today. Okay guys, we are home now with our peaches, but even though they're beautiful, they're not quite ready to can and process. So what we're going to do is just put some towels on our table, and we're just going to lay them out because they're still firm. You really want a peach that's just a little soft to the touch and smells like a peach. Those aren't ready. One exception I know of is a baby gold. My baby golds never get soft. They always stay hard. I don't know why, but that's just the way they work. Okay, guys. We picked up these peaches on Friday. That's when the previous video that you just watched was taken. Well, those peaches, or these peaches, were not ready, and they were still hard, and they didn't smell like peaches. So I had to sit them out for a few days. It's now Monday, and our peaches are ready. They are not mushy, but they are soft. Oh my goodness, guys, a Georgia peach. They smell so good. So we are ready to start canning them. I don't know if I'll can all of these peaches. If we have some left, we'll just put some in the freezer for smoothies and such. I have 2 buckets here measured out. They are 6 pounds of peaches. I'm going to do 2 different types of peach jam this year. So I went ahead and measured those out so I won't accidentally use the peaches I need for that and have to go get more. So we're going to see what we end up with. I have 9 pints in my canner heating up. So I'm thinking at least 2 peaches per pint, maybe 2.5. So I need about, if I'm going to fill those those 9 pints, I need about 18 cups of peaches. Anyway, we're just going to start, and all you have to do, guys, is just peel this peach. You can also drop this in hot water, not just hot water, boiling water, and leave it for, I don't know how long. I think it was 30 seconds. I've tried it before. It didn't work for me. It wasn't worth the effort. So you just drop it in that boiling water. After a few seconds, you put it in ice cold water, and the skins are supposed to slip off. You can try it. You can look up those directions. It's just easier for me to peel it. That's what I've always done. So I'm going to peel it. Oh, and one more thing before we start on this. If you are new to canning, get this book. This is the Ball Complete Book of Home Preserving. It gives you the safe canning methods, the tested recipes. Start here. If you're not used to canning and you're not familiar with the rules, please don't branch out on your own yet. Learn the basics first. Make sure you know what you're doing, the safe methods, and then think about branching out and forming your own recipes for canning. So anyway, let's get started. We're just going to take the peach and just, when they're good and ripe, they are very easy to peel, just like cutting through butter. Just thought about, I didn't put something in my water. This black bucket is a dish pan full of just cold, fresh water. That's all that's in there right now, but I have a product called Fruit Fresh. It helps the peaches from turning brown. And I like to put it into my water just to keep the peaches pretty until I'm ready to put them all in my jars. Some people use it, some people don't, just whatever you prefer. Then I just take my knife and cut around. There's a pit in the middle if you're not familiar with cutting peaches. And then I just make segments and lift them out just like that. Just drop them down in the water. Oh, this one's coming off really easy. Sometimes you can get peaches that are clingstone or semi-clingstone, and sometimes they can be hard to get off of the pit, but these are just coming off nicely. If you missed the video at the beginning, these are a June prints. I've never done June prints before. I've always done baby golds or Alberta or red globe. But I heard great things from some friends about these, so I decided to give them a try. And as you can see, it's quick, it's easy. It just takes some time and patience. Put on some good music, make a YouTube video, watch a YouTube video. Well, you might just want to listen to a YouTube video. I suggest you watch your hands and don't cut your fingers. So let me get this one cut up because I want to show you the fresh fruit. Not the fresh fruit, the fruit fresh. I keep saying it backwards. I think all it is just citric acid. I'd have to look at the bottle. Oh, and another thing, wear an apron when you do this. Or old clothes you don't care about getting real messy. Okay, just a minute. I've got to get this off my hands to show you this other product. Okay, let's look. This is Fruit Fresh. You can find it on the canning aisles most of the time. I know with this pandemic, it's hard to find some things. I know at my store, I still can't get jars here locally or lids, and very little pectin in the stores. Anyway, it's just a powder. It's ascorbic acid. It's just citric acid, basically. Anyway, just sprinkle a little into your water. I don't measure, I just sprinkle. And if my peaches start looking kind of yucky before I'm done, I'll just sprinkle a little bit more in there. And that's all you have to do. Just keep peeling and keep dropping your segments. So, I'm going to get busy on these peaches. Don't y'all want to come help? Something real quick. There are a couple problems you can run into, well, not really problems, but things you can run into when you're doing peaches, and this is one of them. Sometimes your peach will come right in half. The pit, we also call the stone, will just split right in half. Sometimes there will even be mold in the middle, and that's okay. Your peach is not always bad. As long as the flesh looks good, even around the stone, your peach is fine. Just be careful and just scoop this out. Just cut around it with the knife. This is not molded, it just came in half, and it happens all the time. Just go around and scoop that out. And sometimes it just takes a little doing. If it won't scoop right out, just cut a slice off around it till you can get it out, or just keep cutting the slices, whatever works. There's no right or wrong, guys. Your goal is just to get segments or chunks. If you like chunks, that's fine too. Actually, we meant to do chunks. And you get a little piece, you know, you can just always eat it. No, you hate when that happens, man. Poor peach. So, that's the one thing I want to say. Oh, and if you're kind of like that and the peach slices won't give way, that's normal too. Usually if your peach is really ripe, the slices are easy to come off. Now if you're using a freestone peach, that just means the peach will separate from the pit in the middle, the stone. Those slices will come right off. But when you have a clean stone, the peach clings to that pit, and sometimes they can be hard to get off, especially if they're not fully ripe. And you just work your knife in there. Here, scraping up against that pit, I didn't mean to do that. But just work your knife in and out, and the slice will eventually come off. Sometimes you'll just have to get it, cut around it. Nice, it's just whatever you can do. Just make it as neat of a cut as you can. You just feel your way around it. Just like that. I'm actually gonna cut this one into a segment, and voila, it comes off. Sometimes you'll cut too deep. That happens too. We're not doing surgery, guys. We're just trying to get the peach off. I just wanted to tell you that real quick. We are actually just about ready to put some of these into jars. So let's go to the stove. Okay, now we are ready to get these in the jars just like I just said. But before we can do that, we've got to make the syrup to pour over the peaches. Now, you don't have to do a syrup. You can actually just use water, but I do like to do a syrup. What I did is I made 2 batches, or I measured out enough water for 2 batches of light syrup and 1 batch of extra light syrup. And to do that for the light syrup, I did 4.5 cups of sugar and 10.5 cups of water. And the 1 batch of extra light syrup was 1 1/4 cup sugar and 5.5 cups of water. So I put all that in my stock pot on the stove, and I've already got that water going. It's warm. So what we will do is pour all of the sugar into that water and pray that pot doesn't overflow. And we're just going to stir it around, turn it up to bring it up to a boil to get it hot and let the sugar melt really well. And then we're going to turn it down to where it'll still stay hot, but we don't want it boiling. You don't want to boil your syrup down. That's not ideal. So over to the stove we go. Okay. My water is not boiling, it's just heating up right now. Pardon my stove, I did not clean it. If it's showing mess, it's just the way it goes sometimes. Look at there, yay, we didn't overflow. We just want to stir. I don't want that sugar to sit on the bottom and scorch. You see how cloudy it is? When the syrup is dissolved, it'll turn clear again. Kind of cool.
The syrup is dissolved.
Did I say the syrup is dissolved? Pardon me, the sugar. When the sugar is dissolved, the mixture will turn clear. Okay, can you see down in here? It's starting to clear up. I can see the bottom of the pan again. It's still cloudy, it's still not ready, but it won't be but just a little bit longer. Okay, our syrup is just about up to a boil. I've got my jars in the canner getting hot. I'm turning those down just a hair, but I'm going to I'm going to put them on the island over here so we can start packing the peaches. And by the time we get done packing peaches into the jars, that will surely be up to boil. Okay, all we're going to do is just turn this down a little and keep it hot while we're packing the peaches. And then we're going to bring the peaches over to this towel and pour the syrup over them. So let's go get busy. Now I raw pack my peaches. It will make them float more in the syrup, but usually when I'm canning something, I'm doing it in bulk. I don't do it, let me take that back. I used to do it in bulk. I don't do it so much anymore, but this is how I did it when I did it in bulk, because you don't have time. You just got to get it done. And I learned from a friend and her mother who were Mennonite, and well, my friend had come out of the Mennonites. But anyway, this is how they taught me to do it, so this is how I always do it. You just pack them in there pretty tight. You want to smash them. Shake them down if you need to. And just keep filling up to a 1/2 inch. And on the jars, that's usually to this little outside ring right here, because an inch would be a little bit below it when you're canning. So we're going to get these all full and we'll be right back. Okay guys, what I'm doing is just pouring the water out of the jar. The water is just what we had the peaches in. I like all the room I can get for the syrup. So let's go to the stove and get the syrup in. We're almost there. Okay, we're ready. All we do is just take the syrup, pour it into the jar. I like to do it slowly to avoid as many air pockets as possible. And we're going to go up to about a 1/2 inch head space. Whoops, and sometimes you will just go over. You can always use a spoon and get out the extra. But sometimes when you take out the air pockets, I like to use a plastic utensil. A lot of times when you take out air pockets and skin that doesn't belong in there, your syrup comes down to where it needs to be. So now, pardon my arm, I'm sorry. So now all we do is just wipe off the rim to make sure there's no gunky stuff to keep it from sealing well. Put on the flap and put on a ring until it's finger tight. I push down and turn, and when the jar turns like this and it stops turning around, the ring stops turning around the jar, that's tight enough. And I'm just going to sit it right there and finish the rest of the jars. Almost there. All right, that is our last jar. Yay! So let's just get these in. This water is almost up to a boil. We will drop these in the water and make sure the water level is about an inch. Well, a book says it needs to be 1 inch to 2 inches above the top of the jars. I'm going to grab my heat resistant gloves because usually this water rises up and hits my hands, and that's not pretty with hot water. Hold on.
Okay.
Haha, got my Vader gloves. In we go, my little pretties. And put them in gently. You don't want them to bang around and jar, and sometimes you have to move them around because these little things like to knock them over. All right. magic of Vader gloves, you can just stick your hands right down in that hot water and it's at the right level. We're good. It's an inch above. Lid on. Let this come up to a boil. And when it's up at a boil, we will let it go for 20 minutes. I don't like for it to boil too hard and knock my jars around, but you do want a good boil on it. So we're almost there. I know I keep telling you that, but I promise you, this is the last step before taking them out. We'll be right back. All right, let's talk about these peaches, guys. These slices are what was left after I filled up all of those jars. And this is what we're going to do with them. I am just going to chop them into chunks. Uh-oh, I didn't get my 1 cup measuring cup. Just like that. And do your best not to get everything sticky. We'll measure out 1 cup at a time and put them in a little snap bag. So you can pop these in the freezer and have quick 1 cup servings of peaches. How cool is that? We love to take these and put them in smoothies, but we also love to take them out and thaw them just a little bit and eat them just like they are. Yum, you guys. You can have summer in the middle of winter. It's amazing. It's worth your effort, I promise. We're having such incredible technical difficulties with this video. Right when the timer went off, the phone decided it was done recording, said you've done enough, internal memory full, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, I want to tell you at least what we did. When that timer went off, I uncovered the pot, I moved it off of the eye very carefully, and I just let it sit for 10 minutes. I didn't do anything to it, left the jars in the water. One reason you want to do that, it helps with the siphoning so that you don't lose so much of your syrup. Now, remember I told you raw packing will cause your peaches to float more. I've also found different types of peaches tend to float more too. If you pack it tighter, they float less. But I wasn't worried about it too much, guys. And if I had been taking these to the fair, I'd have been more careful hot packing and cooking your peaches down for just, I'm not sure, a few minutes, few seconds. That helps too. But my goal was just to get them into jars and get them canned. So anyway, I hope you have enjoyed this video. If you're new to canning, I hope it helped you and you've learned something to help you out in your new adventure. So as always, thank you so much for joining me. And until I see you again, may you be blessed. Goodbye.